Angolan TV, Angolan Telecom, and those technicians with those training from Japan. They were able to hold to the communication of this country in the most crucial moments. And also in this moment, passing testimony without taking any more time, I will ask your attention for a presentation that the Mr. Engineer Diateza will do on the method that brings us here. Thank you very much. You have the floor.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much, friend, brother, fellow, fellow mate, fellow brother, and we shall talk on what brought us here. Those are the two questions that we shall talk today, specifically the opportunities and challenges for Angola. And it was already presented, our moderators already well presented, and the speakers would have been also here. And this assistance also to also greet as usual Minister, Secretary of State, and the National Director, and the colleagues, to all that are present here, my special greetings, and especially to the technical, to the support staff that they've created the condition for us to be here. This is my CV. I'm 66 years old. I'm actually, and I'm a master electronic in telecommunication. I have some specialization in USA, and I've got several certificates. I will not explain everything. I've got also several diplomas on the. Actually, I'm also a projectist of the public companies and the privates as well. We are here, and I'll give a little executive summary from the 12 to the 14. We are talking about the Angotic, and this is the fourth edition, and our subject is PDT opportunity and opportunity for Angola. Our target is the Angolan society in general, but mostly the young people, the students, and our perspective is to create among us creativity, technological innovations, so that the businessmen and the interested people may be inside of the subject. There are some objectives that TDT, it comes through the migration, through this migration that we've got this proposed of UIT. It was in 2006. They supposed to finish with those official data on the analogical broadcast, and also there was some services like the using of the electromagnetic spectrum, and the inclusion also of other services as inclusion of the high definition and the multimedia content. The Angolan government has placed certain objectives and established some targets, and also to adopt a norm to Angola for the best access for the population in Angola through information, and also to separate the market of service and infrastructures and contents, to develop platforms to share, and also these channels, and to facilitate the development of the markets, and also having in consideration the program to improve the coverage and the reach of the public. Also, to take this migration program to improve and also to reach the public and also to fix a migration program according to IT with other operators on the market, which is an opportunity for those that are interested. And on the subject that brings us here, it is the TDT. Talking about the TDT, we're talking about the general general concepts, and we talk also about the STBT. The specialist will bring more details. We shall talk about ECDT of Angola. We are already having a certain standard, and we're also talking about the implementation strategy. It is an opportunity. There is a challenge. So this is our roadmap. Going back and talking about the international standards that are recognized internationally on what is to do with the solution of the there are three partners that are recognized internationally. Today we talk about the Chinese standards, and the world in this moment is distributed with this technology. If we see here, we can see better. We've got here the dividity that migration, that's the blue part, ITC, which is the American system, which is the part of the Americans, is the T, which is the Japanese part, which is the Japanese technology, and the Chinese technology, which is officially is not yet known, but we are about to know also it. Talking about the architecture, the TV architecture, this digital system has got certain layers. We've got the layer one, which is transmission, layer two, which is transport, layer three, which is the fulfillment, where you got the audio and video, and four, we've got the middle wave, which it deals with the applications of all the system. And finally, we've got the applications. They have each country's got their norms. The Japanese and the Europeans, they've worked with the modulation of Adam, and on the transport, all they use the MP2. And finally, Americans, they've been working alone, but in a certain stage, all of them, they've got the standards, and that's what actually forced that there may be a middle wave to interact. Talking about the services TDT, communication and TV, what's this? We can understand basically that is we've got various mean of communication. TDT, that's the mean that is done by radio fusion, which is there is a communication between the source. This is the vision. This is the general. In terms of concept, we could be in more details, but we are not going to waste time here. We shall go with what's more important. The architectural is also done in layers of TDT, where those layers and the functions here, applications, transport, and the physical part, and the broadcast. Each layer's got a specific function, as we can analyze it, as we can check here. That is, in practical terms, how it works. There is this technique on what we've done. Talking about these ISBDT standard, and Angola is having this standard here. Those are 20 countries in the world that are using the ISBT. The transport is more efficient. It's all they've done the analogical transmission. We have done. We've lost 50% of resolution. Each image loses half of what's received. So the digital TV, there is improvement on the sound. Japan is able to bring high emission technician and information, as we can see, and there are other aspects, which is the it has to do with strongness of the system, the emission of data, and also the security system emergence. Comparing to other standards, it works in a certain transmission with this same channel is able to work in a way that using only the way of this band for the mobile, this help with the same to offer the two services, may it be the landline or the mobile one, and also it has to do with the karaoke interactivity and the full interactivity. The communication here is not only done from the broadcast, but from our houses we can also interact with this broadcast. TDT in Angola, those historical aspects, we've got certain data that we've went through this well. 2009, it was the historical moment. Angola has adopted officially the ICBT. 2017 and 2020 started with the migration process. Why TDT in Angola? Besides of being a must for Angola, this is part of the daily use. There is a high penetration in all the layers, as you see this image here. Our research, we see that this penetration reaches more than 60% of the houses. The Angolians probably sometimes they don't have a fridge, but they've got a TV. This is a very important fact, and it's also part of the entertainment factor, for example. And this is the norms of Angola, is well elaborated with Japan. This is an experience, that a pilot experience that we have elaborated some of the means that were done, some results in terms of reception. There were done some measurements in Samzanga and in Rangel, and they've done a normal TV that's at home, which we call Mareko. We call it box in 2 points, and the comparison we got it before this image that we've got here, and during this syntony it was done until 2020. We had this image and comparing with the analog TV. There are some pillars that have moved the opportunity and the challenges. Pillar one, you need solid infrastructure. Pillar two, this TV, it goes on a certain model, and pillar three, that is the legal And also, the fourth is the operational model. Just to finish, the moderator, we have got time, and the need of convergence, as you can see here, there is a need of converging among the platforms between the broadcasting here, the industry. I'm about to finish. Those are some of the challenges. That's a part of the market and the regulations being done here. And finally, as you can calculate, the TDT is an interactive model, and this is very important and gives opportunity to every one of us. And I'm finished here, and because of the time, because there are other presentations, and thank you very much.
Senhoras e meus senhores, como veem, é tema apaixonante.
As you see, this is a very nice subject. We could have been here more time, but we shall have more opportunities, and we shall work on strategies, and we shall have more public sessions so that we can coordinate. For this moment, we shall now give to the next presentation, which, if we have got a theoretical lesson on what is TDT, with the specialists, we shall see what we do and where we are going.
Bon dia. My name is Kazuhiko Harikae from Yacho Engineering. I'm a leader of the JICA project team, providing technical assistance for the digitization of terrestrial TV broadcasting in Angola.
Broadcast. Eu estou realmente honrado em estar aqui e ter a oportunidade de falar hoje. O
government has been providing technical support for the start of digital TV broadcasting by the ISDBT standard. JICA project is part of that. I would like to explain the significance and overview.
O significado e o histórico do broadcast na TV.
Here is the agenda.
Essa é a agenda que eu estarei a falar hoje.
The migration of digital terrestrial TV broadcasting requires preparing for the followings. From output 1 to output 4. JICA technical assistance has been working for 2 years, starting in July 2021, to achieve these 4 outputs. Individual activities are shown in.
Atividades são mostradas aqui. As atividades foram completadas de acordo com o programa na renovação do contrato, e isso alarga-se a 2 anos.
We conducted survey for the terrestrial viewing here in Angola. The result as shown in the table indicates that there is a clear division between area with about 1% of households and area with about 20% of households in terms of terrestrial analog TV viewers. Rwanda and Kwanza Norte are urban or rural. Town center has a good infrastructure. Huambo and Maranje are limited infrastructure facilities. In the latter, terrestrial TV broadcasting is considered to be important means of information transmission. Meanwhile, it has been agreed that the analog terrestrial TV viewing will be digitized following ITU GE06 guidelines. ITU GE06 is international agreement aimed at the effective use of limited frequency resources in order to eliminate the information gap and the digitization of terrestrial broadcasting in Angola is an important and urgent mission. The digitization, transition plan to digital terrestrial TV broadcasting in Angola refer to switch from analog to digital terrestrial broadcasting for TV broadcasting signal. The transition is done to improve picture and sound quality of TV broadcasts and to free up airwaves for other use, such as mobile communications. This section describes the terrestrial broadcasting network. The upper part of the chart shows the existing analog terrestrial broadcasting system. From the left, program production system which produce contents to be broadcast. Next is the signal distribute system which distribute broadcast signal to transmitting station located nationwide via satellite. The transmitting system amplify and transmit the distributed broadcast signal. Finally, receiver receives the broadcast signal. The bottom of the chart is the digital terrestrial broadcasting. The next step is in program production system is a system that generates a signal for digital broadcasting. The middle of the part is that middle of the chart is a transitional simulcasting period. The digitization of terrestrial TV broadcasting in Angola is planned in 4 phases. At the beginning, there are 19 transmitting stations in 18 province capital. Rwanda will be 2 transmitting stations. After that, 33 large cities for the province capital. And the city following phase 2, the remaining municipality will be. Why change from analog to digital? First, let me explain about the difference between the analog and digital broadcast. Conventional analog broadcasting system transmits signal for broadcast as they are on the air. On the other hand, digital broadcasting system encode signals for broadcast, multiplex them with signal for other services, and transmit them as a digital broadcasting signal. There are several reasons why switch from analog to digital TV is beneficial from number 1 to number 3. For whom is digital terrestrial broadcasting? Person with set-top box are eligible. The government plan to distribute set-top box to low-income families through a donation program. The set-top box is a device convert digital TV signal into analog TV signal for viewing on conventional TV set. Number two is the example of set-top box distribution program in Botswana. In Botswana, have done like this. How to use a set-top box? No need to buy new TV set to new TV terrestrial broadcasting. Simply connect a set-top box. Digital broadcast can be viewed by connecting a set-top box between the antenna and analog TV. You can now watch a digital broadcast. With regard to digital broadcasting coverage, as explained in the transition plan, the capital of each province will be covered in first phase. Coverage municipality are listed in the table. First phase will be covered 60% of population in Angola. Other area are planned to covered after phase 2. For the transition to digital broadcasting, simulcasting will be conducted as a preparation period. People will have a certain period to purchase set-top box during the simulcasting period. ASO, which stands for analog switch off, refer to process of discontinuing analog TV signals in favor of digital broadcasting. Analog terrestrial TV viewers will need to have a set-top box to watch digital TV before ASO completely. DTTV will be available in each province capital as soon as Angola DTTV program is approved. Thank you for being such attentive audience through the presentation. I would like to express my deepest gratitude for the opportunity to speak before you today. Thank you, and I wish you all continuous success in your endeavors.
Nós também agradecemos a Arikaya-san. Arigato. Minhas senhoras, meus senhores, como bem, é um tema apaixonante e mais do que isso,
that is a need that comes from the international standards, that is especially because part of these frequencies of today that were used by the analogical TV will be by the mobile service. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a few times. We shall just choose 2 questions, but our specialists, they are available so that later on you can talk. But as on telecommunication, we are also open to receive who wants to visit us so that we will deepen his knowledge on what is to do with digital TV. And thank you very much. We shall have now 2 questions so that we can
É por gente até só. E desculpa aqui a minha ignorância. Ajuda.
Excuse me, just help me to understand. During the last years, the two operators that are on the market of the distribution of content, DSTV and Zap, they've have those packages. They've created those packages to ease the access to the people of low income. What I want to ask is the follow. We shall not have difficulty to commercialize because of these two operators on the market. They've got those accessible package which will be on the price table of the terrestrial digital. We not having the risk of not being able to commercialize the terrestrial TV, and also continue. What kind of strategies should we implement so that this doesn't happen? Because I feel that every European territory this has happened. The digital terrestrial television is not taking long because there are already other packages nearby of what they already do. And when I've done this introduction, I wanted also so that you can help me to understand. Thank you very much. We only have 5 minutes to finish, and then we can continue later on outside. I just want to say that the terrestrial the TV, that is a simple example that I'll give in Mozambique. That's just Mozambique has done its migration and it's got these three packages on the digital terrestrial TV. It's got 12 channels which they call light, where the people they've got information, and as a public service there is a premium channel on $4 which they've got other channels, and there is $6.6 which where they've got more other things and the soapies and so on. So it has to be with the market strategies. Angola and other countries of low income, they need this TV, even though this technology is also leading to the extension. With this delay of the technology in Africa is very important. When we say that it is public, it is free of charge. That is free of charge. That's the one that you've got the TV at home and you don't need to pay anything. That is, which is the, but just to understand if this TDT system continues or if it's already closed, and to understand if those national packages of TDT will be with the local contents or there will be also other contents as it's already asked here about the existed ones. Thank you very much. Can you please come again with the question? I did not get you. It's important to have the access to the setup box and the HTV that you've got at home. O orador fala sem, he speaks without the mic.
Eu mantenho associado ao set-top box. Simples. Aquele entende depende que
It depends. It's not the one that we're having. So that is the one that comes to cable to cable. So we can proceed. 10:30. The moderators got 2 minutes to close.
Bom dia, obrigada. Duas das
Good morning. Thanks very much. The last question was already replied. The first one is to know when the switch off of the analogical TV to digital, when is it? I think that this is also another difficult situation. There is a transition. There is this semicast way, there is the digital TV and the analog one. The digital and the analog, this period which we call semi, this period is the one that will determine the end of the things. Angola, that is the politic of the ministry, the policy of the ministry, above 60% if it will be concluded according to the provision. Certainly that's going to be announced. It's going to be announced on a public level. I don't talk about time, but it will be announced on a public level.
E o nosso tempo. Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, isso foi só mesmo.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was just to prove and fill the test. And I said we are open to continue with this discussion, and we are going to be, and we're going to have this process, and it's designed to be as simple as possible. People cannot put away the activities that they have at home. We have presented Rangel and Sambizanga, and we go to a citizen's house, and we go to a public place where people go to watch the football, and we go with a seat box, and we, in a very simply steps, the people already have the television. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the terrestrial TV comes, and very shortly we're going to have a contact with it. So I cannot go further, and because there is another presentation after ours, I would like to thank for your presence, and also for the presence of Arikaya Science, who made a very trip of 90 hours. Japan, Dubai, Luanda, Japan, Dubai, Japan, and with all the breaks, and he came yesterday afternoon, and it will go today afternoon. He will go back to Japan tired, and we hope that the contract signature, we're going to have more of your wisdom and here, and JICA with the ICAISA team, they work on the very young team, and we are having the same success with the special program. So if you can go and visit the stand, and you can see that the specialists, they have younger than 30 years, and they are the best in the world. So I'm not mistaken by saying that. So we have done two things that are very important, and as a country that we have contributed with the Japan government support and Angola, and the study we have done, it make that the World Union of Telecommunication has taken a part of Europe and Africa. Is the work that was done in Angola with the support of Japan. We made an adaptation with the Japan program to adapt in Angola. So we can say that we have Yes TVT, which is a digital TV of Japan in Angola. This is 11 o'clock, and thank you. Uh, and thank you. We are very late, and thankfully the room is very full, and we are very happy for this. Thank you.
Uma outra sessão. Eu aconselho que saiam todos. Vamos começar com outra sessão daqui a mais ou menos 10 minutos, ok? Muito obrigado. Vamos sair que já passou a entregar aí.
and the challenges for face to the dynamic of the new technology, and to thanks for all presence. And for this theme or for this topic, we invited three professors, as I mentioned, to be part of the table. Dr. João Teta, engineer engineer, and was done the degree and a master's in the University of Cracovia, and doctor in science, and is a teacher or a professor in the University Agostinho Neto, and was also a director of the University Agostinho Neto, and was also elected 2 times. Is also a president of Africa chapter, and also to mention our doctor was the Secretary of State for Telecommunication and Science and Innovation, and also a member of UNESCO. And we also can mention a word which is very relevant as one of the 200 intellectual person in the 20th century, 21st century. So thank you, Dr. Tecta. And also was invited to be with us the professors Aris Manuel, which had a degree in 1993 in Agostinho Neto in telecommunication, in 90 and 96 in University of Agra, and it was a director of the World Bank, and director of the University of Angola. Is a professor of the Catholic University, and has a new curriculum and of IT, and as a chief of the university in the last. I would like to invite also Professor José Figueiredo, had a degree in the University of Angola, and also had also a degree in Cuba. Is also a professor in the Department of IT in the University of Angola. Has been done the presentation, or the University of Luanda actually. As the presentation being done, we would like to say that do a very short presentation. The Ministry of Telecommunication with its partners very focused on the study of telecommunication, and those are part of our ministry. So with the with the program 2020-30, so the Ministry of Telecommunication and Innovation, together with its partners, they are developing projects that are very important with the technology, startups and innovation. Therefore, we are implementing a new system, national system of technology and innovation, a new presidential decree 21, and this diploma also also brings all the sector, private and public sector. So in this sense, the companies and everyone else, they are the main role in. Also, I want to say that is going on a project of a course of innovation in the four university as the University Católica, University Oscar Riba, and University José dos Santos and Agostinho Neto. Was done a study for 2 years ago, and we know that our curriculum in Angola is not linked to entrepreneurship. So now we are trying to implement in all the curriculum about entrepreneurship. It's also being developed the project of science and technology. This park is being a place where we're going to gather all the companies and laboratories of science, and they are going to gather startups, and this park is being built here in Luanda, and we believe we're going to be. And in the morning, we had the privilege to have few sections. I'd like to mention the conclusion that came from those sections. So, as the United Nations has agreed that this is a very sustainable project, and I was satisfied to hear that the speakers, they advise that we have to invest more on the education and in order to accomplish sustainable success. We want to mobilize resources to bring development, and we would like to have to achieve the goal of UNESCO to have 1% of our investment, 1% of our money on research, and we also have put incubators in the superior studies or in the universities, and we still having the project and also was done a study of technology, and I was talking about with the partnership we created a network, and we're trying to expand this network with other institutions and to work with the will be a network to share innovation, to share experience, and a group of support and financial institution and so on. And I would like to say the professor will talk about artificial intelligence, and we're going to have also programs on protection and education. we're going to have a program of Innova.ao. AO. Those are programs that we are trying to finance courses linked to TICs, and we are trying to promote in we are trying to have cyber security and all the higher education. So those are the Ministry of Higher Education. So I will give the word to Professor Muteta.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much. I would like to greet our Secretary of State, and I thank this indication to come and to represent the University of Agostinho Neto, and also to be when we talk about science, the all becomes empty, but I believe that it's going to be very profitable because most of the people that are here are people that are connected to the teaching. For us, I've been challenged to challenge the curriculums. That's the subject I bring. The curriculum challenges. Everyone, everyone should know that the information is the stone for the development of any society. We bring we shall define those concepts of the definition. We shall be very short, and we shall also talk about the transferability of the TIC, because this event only talks about the TICs and its advantages. We shall talk about the proposal of the system of the team training. We bring this proposal on how to train from the infantry to the from the cradle to university. We admire how those kids they block the phone, but they don't have conscience when they go to school what they're using. That's why we've got this system. For example, those curriculum vision on what is with the challenge, conclusion, suggestion. First comes the information. I believe that everyone knows what is the information. Sometimes there is this misunderstanding. Information are the dates. Sometimes they confuse the data and the signification that's not well given. And we have another definition which can be stored, which can be transmitted, and it can also be used to command. I bring this definition to show that the information was always there. Many people think that we are on the age of information. There was always information. Since the man was born, there was always processing of information system also. Before those new information system, it is a couple of information that is systematized and is stored, processed, and defined by men. Our fathers were not having computers, and the society of information, it is the society that is on the system of information in which its information it is stored on the ways of information technology. We're talking about IH on telecommunication. We also bring on the IT, and this is the science and art that brings that calculates. And when we talk about the curriculum, I will demonstrate that it is a very important subject, and we also define the management and the technology. The word technology comes from the technique and the logy, technique and study. The question that comes, innovation of telecommunication, with to fish this technology, wisdom, knowledge, the result of the interaction of technical science to give a feedback to the needs, to the requirements, and the great mean that there is that people they think that technology, science gives to technology, and technology doesn't give birth to science. That's why the whole it is as it was. Many people think that when you drive a Mercedes, you are developed. The development rides a bike. Yes, yeah. And there's another example that I used to give. I want to defend myself from the robbers. So one is going to buy the missile, and one is going to buy, for example, a slingshot. The one that's going to buy a missile doesn't know how to use it. So the one that's got a slingshot may know how to use. That's why I like to interact this. That is the interaction of the technique, technolo- that is IT also, and technology of information, and also to have into logical procedures that is to do with storing, keeping, and telecommunication and image processing. We are on the definition. We also bring another important definition. Everyone knows about this digital sovereignty, that the rights of states. When we talk about the states, that is also another misunderstanding. The state is not the state, it's the government, is the parliament. That's what the state is. That is the right of the state to participate on the decision making, management, and protection of the resources that configurates. Now we also have to set the curriculum because that's what we're going to talk. We've got this decree, those executive decree 450/22 that defines as the structural plan that involves objectives, contents, and the process that goes as a guide for the pedagogic action to show also the objective, how to teach and when to teach, elaborate also. I will talk about the profile, the objectives, and the rest are created on what's the way the opportunity, transversality. I will go quickly. The advantage on the public administration, business, teaching, investigation, health, and we can also resume all this that the events of the information technology, we've got many advantages, that the access to the information, the access of the education and culture is in brackets, which is very important, which is not a privilege for some, that is to say that we are not yet on the society of information. We want to go to the society, and the TICs can serve to promote as long as guarantee the access to the accessible prices to most of the population. The problem of the ministry, government, TICs can create opportunity for promotion and business as the event of COVID-19. We've seen that indeed this this the TICs can contribute for the exchange, culture exchange. This is another opportunity also. We go also to the challenges that we want to foment.
We want men that we're going to challenge. Um, well, what are the challenges? We have defined what is digital sovereignty. So it, we are not digitally sovereign, and we still don't have capacities, and also there's a lot of countries, and we have the banks and information, and they are not done, and the sovereignty has to be. So sometimes we go to the bank and they don't have a system, and sometimes the system is being busy, and so the hackers and the cybers, we know that our country has been victim of this. So then we have the ethics. We do not participate on the organism that make the management of the internet. So we are obligated to participate, and sometimes there are person that decide for us and they create the rules for us. So there we know that on the internet, on WhatsApp, they create a lot of things, and also people that say that you have not spoken or we have not said something correctly. So in the point of view, which is very organized, so it puts the organization or the companies. So if you want to put your company on internet, you have to update your company, and here we know that the and sometimes we buy computers, and those computers are just to write letters. So we these are the technological fever. So we have a new way of telework, and those are the challenges, and we have to be with the manipulation and development of the technological development. All this upload content, those are the have the rights. So we have been so we're talking about the hackers, and to avoid the exclusions, and those are the challenges. So what are the system that we propose? We have proposed a system where we say it is a system of education and information technology. Someone will talk about is a word missing, telecommunication. No, telecommunication is not missing. So information is the stone that if we cannot have content without information. So that's why this system we have to divide into subsystem. So I'm not proposing new ministry or new. So we're talking about the system. So people start thinking, who is going to lead this? And everyone will lead on what need to be connection in all the subsystems and a very logic connection. So the content as the kindergarten and to university. So as a system which is reactive and preventive. So why is it will be reactive and preventive? So it need to be in order so that we have to react immediately as come a new thing, so we need to be ready. This is one thing. And the prevention, to create knowledge and information, we have to create mechanisms for others to react. So if the system is reactive, so we need to teach how the users to follow the development of the ticks, and in order to have, we're going to have good drivers for Mercedes. And sometimes you have a good car and the driver cannot drive. So we have to use well the technology. So the kid, so that he know that can teach touch the phone because it can create problems. So you have to teach the kid. So we have the preventive system where we are creating ability, and the other we are giving knowledge. So we are giving competence for three pillars, where knowledge, attitude, and one we are giving ability, one we are giving knowledge, and one giving attitude. So algorithmia is very fundamental. Unfortunately, this is not working. Here we have the reactive system. On top we have a general system, a reactive. So then we have professional reactive system. Reactive system is to teach the ability, and which is in the social science in all the schools and in all the university, and we have to, everyone needs have to know how to use, and those are the centers of formal formations, and it can give introduction to Windows and everything. So this is to teach the new product. So we have the system of adults. The adults they cannot be excluded, so they have to be included. So then we have the reactive professional system. So this is to form so those are for they need to have a technological schools, or all the course of 5 years, and on the third year the student they go to study. After 3 years they go and work, and then we have the course. I don't think that to increasing the time doesn't. So we have the preventive system. Here is already with knowledge, and the preventive system, and we create. They go with the doctors, and we also have all the system. So the preventive system, and so we have the foundation. So to create, to honor the personality of the students, to capitalize to think the paper, the principle, the role of the teacher, and to be focused on the thinking, and to have to have more intake of the study, to create a condition for work and for the for this for education of
Enquadramento jurídico, claro que todos vão querer fazer, digamos, o curso de 5 anos. Né? Enquanto que na reforma de Bolonha, as pessoas fazem 3 anos e são engenheiros informáticos. Quando chegam em Angola, são engenheiros informáticos. Né? O nosso acaba 5 anos, lá não é mestre. Ele faz lá 5 anos, chega aqui é mestre. Quem perde? Não sei. Bom, pressuposto. Agora, esses dois subsistemas, qual é que vai ser o peso das cadeiras para a universidade? Qual vai ser o peso, estamos a entrar no currículo, o peso digamos assim, das disciplinas. No subsistema reativo, nós propusemos que 40% das cadeiras, até 40%, atenção, até 40%, né, sejam cadeiras nucleares. E 60% tecnológicas, né, eu digo assim, mutáveis. Porque a tecnologia, como está a evoluir, não podemos amarrar o currículo. Temos que estar, como eu disse, no sistema reativo, temos que estar atualizado permanentemente. Enquanto que no sistema preventivo é o contrário. Até cerca de 40% de disciplina tecnológica, aquilo que pode mudar sempre, e 60% disciplinas um pouco mais, que podem mudar um pouco depois. Esse é o perfil de saída do engenheiro informático. Né? É longo, né? Tanto, mas deve saber, sobretudo, conceber. Né? Problematizar, como eu digo. Ver o problema, e definir o problema, identificar o problema e dar soluções ao problema. Mas não só. Também saber, digamos, criar problemas. As pessoas não querem ter problemas, mas é preciso criar problemas, sim. Né? Preciso para que se encontrem soluções. Isso é para resumir. Esse é o perfil geral de saída. E tem também o perfil profissional de saída. O engenheiro informático. Claro que poderemos falar isso depois, o tempo urge. E as competências. Vou aqui a ter mais. Desenvolver aplicações de informática através de algoritmos que tenham como base os conhecimentos matemáticos, científicos e tecnológicos. A matemática é a base. Conceber e desenvolver aplicações para sistemas operativos, para sistemas de gestão de bases de dados. Analisar e interpretar serviços e aplicações, etc., etc., vai aí seguindo. Portanto, espinha dorsal, isso sim, vou manter. As matemáticas, desculpem, matemáticas, físicas, químicas, biologia. Sistemas operacionais, um instrumento importante para a análise da viabilidade de processos. Teoria da identificação ajuda a identificar e, consequentemente, resolver, formular o problema. Empreendedorismo, esteve agora a falar o doutor Eito, tá aí. Empreendedorismo e educação financeira. O nosso problema é que queremos ser empreendedores, mas não calculamos se vamos ter benefício ou vamos ter, digamos, lucro ou prejuízo. Educação financeira. Na África do Sul, a educação financeira é a partir da 10ª classe. Quando ela acaba, faz o matric, todas as pessoas vão fazer cálculos. Os irmãos que vêm do Congo Democrático, que estão nos congolenses, nunca nenhum faliu. Né? Sabem fazer contas. Né? Aprenderam a ter educação financeira. É importante. Conclusões. A sociedade da informação é uma forma de estar da sociedade moderna, produto das novas tecnologias de informática, de telecomunicações e de processamento de imagem. É óbvio. Através das TIC, o cidadão, numa sociedade de informação, tem à disposição informações e meios de trabalho em tempo real e em ambiente ergonômico sobre todos os aspectos relacionados com essa integração na sociedade e assim sucessivamente. Os governos têm de investir na implementação e desenvolvimento da sociedade da informação e comunicação para evitar a infoexclusão das suas populações, mais perniciosa que todos os perigos potenciais que as TIC hoje podem representar. Como em todas as transições tecnológicas da história, o sistema de educação e informação em ciência e tecnologia de informação que propusemos é uma proposta exploratória. As instituições do próprio sistema de ensino, em particular, não possuem, com certeza, todas as respostas. Não há nenhuma matriz definida que indique que uma série de opções será mais fácil do que outra. E aquilo que suceder será, sem dúvida, um teste à robustez das instituições e à continuidade do progresso. Sem um ensino de engenharia informática em Angola à altura dos desafios da globalização, os angolanos serão meros objetos e não sujeitos da globalização. A informação foi e será a chave para a devida tomada de decisões rumo ao desenvolvimento. Não é? Ter cuidado com o risco do messianismo tecnológico. Isso é, todo mundo de tecnologia, mas nem tecnologia, vamos começar com ciência. Não é? Promover a revisão dos programas escolares, formar quadros à altura dos desafios, apostar na competência científica e técnica e na melhoria das condições de trabalho dos docentes é a chave para a formação de quadros competentes capazes de ser localmente úteis e globalmente competitivos. E termino. Não há corta-mato cognitivo. Ou se sabe ou não se sabe. Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado, doutor Teta, por essa aula magnífica. Muito obrigado, doutor Teta. Mais uma vez, uma salva para o doutor Teta. Então, fechou. Ok. Vamos ter que ser um pouco mais rápido por causa do tempo. Que demos só 1 hora e já corremos meia hora. Este aqui? Ok, obrigado.
Ok, bom dia a todos. Ok, bom dia a todos. Professor José Figueiredo, da Universidade de Luanda, Instituto de Tecnologias de Informação e Comunicação. Estamos aqui para fazer a apresentação do tema inteligência artificial no impacto para o ensino superior. Quero agradecer ao convite que me foi feito para fazer esta apresentação. A princípio, inteligência artificial, falando de inteligência artificial, na década de 50, os especialistas juntaram-se em 1959 na Universidade de Dartmouth. Eles sentaram e chegaram à conclusão de que podiam usar o termo de algumas ficções científicas que estavam a ser usadas antes para ser definido então como inteligência artificial. E eles chegaram à conclusão, de acordo a esta reunião, de que este termo, inteligência artificial, seria então usado como, e uma das definições que eu gosto muito de usar e interpretá-la é de que a interação do homem com a máquina, chegando à conclusão de que estou a interagir com a máquina como se estivesse a interagir com um humano, é o termo utilizado como inteligência artificial. Logo, trata-se certamente de um ramo da ciência da computação e, portanto, visa desenvolver sistemas computacionais que solucionam problemas. Para tal, utiliza o número diverso de técnicas e modelos dependendo dos problemas abordados. Ou seja, a inteligência artificial aqui, em vários termos, é aplicada às outras ciências. De particular importância na qual nós abordamos isso, não tratamos da inteligência artificial de forma particular, mas sim associada às outras ciências. Já de forma particular, não podemos tratá-la pura e simplesmente como um fórum particular fora das outras ciências. Logo, abordando com as outras ciências, então chegamos à conclusão de que dentro destas ciências existem algumas buscas, que é disso que nós vamos falar hoje, buscas ou pesquisas na inteligência artificial. O que são buscas, afinal de contas? Dentro da inteligência artificial. Buscas dentro da inteligência artificial são nada mais de algoritmos, são a base de muitas áreas da inteligência artificial, desde raciocínio lógico até aprendizado de máquina. Algoritmo de busca enumera possíveis soluções para um problema, seguindo algum sistema que permite que uma solução desejada.
And what we do when it comes to the internet and we place those data, for example, on Google, we place those datas and also they're going to fetch some information. And that's what we do searches behind this. There are some numbers that will be interpreting the informations that will be searching the desirable information. And today we have got this research, this informed research, in which way it doesn't have an valuation of costs. It doesn't have a value when it comes from one field to another. There are few ways of searches, and those are some of them. And we shall only deal with those ones and in large and in width and some in depth as well, because we've got different ones on what has to do with the search by size, by width. We've got this strategic, which in width, for example, it has to this deal with it actually expands to other sectors. So we shall see here this number of search. This is one of search, which the one of the root. The root, this one is going by the left, by the A and B, C, D, G, H, and so on until it goes to the lowest level, on the level S, and we've got here 0, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and the kappa. That is the level 4. What happens there? The transition of this root node to span to another ones, it does a transition by level. It passes from this root to the A and C, and it goes to B, and goes to C, and expands to the other ones. And this search here is done by level, and it does here by level. And after that, after this research here, it presents a certain disadvantage. What happens here? It provides a solution. If there will be a solution. If there will be more than one solution for a certain problem, so this also will provide the minimum that requires the less number of stages. When it comes to disadvantages, it requires a lot of memory, because as we'll be exploring most of those points, I will be storing until I'll find a solution, but that one is to explore all the possible points. And this algorithm also needs more time if the solution will be far from the point. Another research that we've got, it is the research in when it comes to the deep. It deals algorithms which say backtracking. So what happens? It does a research starting from the right, left, and it's going to explore the other points. When it comes to the one D, before it goes to A, E, it does a backtracking. The algorithm of deepness is going to of the depth is going to go from D to B, and it's going to A later on until it finds the solution. So this algorithm is going to allow that as we do this search, when I find the solution, it defines that's the best, different from the past one that requires a bigger memory. Here, when it goes to the solution, it determines that this is the best solution. And also shows the advantage of this algorithm. It requires less memory. You just store one battery, and it takes fewer time to reach the purposes we see there. Because here, when we find a solution, it actually leaves behind other possibilities to go to the other points. Another disadvantage, there is a possibility of the other ones continuing, and the one does a deep search, and it can go as a proposal for these two algorithms, and it those are the searches. Those are very important elements for the artificial intelligence. What happens on those concepts that we use during the classrooms and our curriculum regime? We teach that they should build a base of knowledge, and during this base of knowledge, they'll do research to find the results. And here we see one of the proposal that can improve on the high level education is the way that the students today, they got the need to find a university. How is going to find a university to start if he actually engage himself in that course, in that field? It is a system that they can actually place in that system, where he finds the university in a shared way in the system where there are many universities, and he goes there and he checks if this university is the best that is there for his standard or not. If he can do, if he can use a system of a neural network to do a test to see if it is in this university or not, from a certain evaluation where he can notice that I've got an operation here, that there is a certain value, and this value is going to be submitted, and it's going to show that is in condition of joining to this university. There are also others example that may be used as, for example, the way in which we also deal with the books at the university for the support of students. It can be supply link on where he can be able to have, so that he will be able to do the payment of the provided service at the university. This artificial intelligence, in terms of search, there are many other examples in which we can base ourselves. Other examples are the way in which we have got the provision of the school success. As I was saying, through this network, I'm able to detect if the student, from this data that he can or he cannot have a good success, school success, or have, and also from there is going to notice that here at this university, no, I will go to another one. What happens today? The students, they've got the information, a few information of universities. When they do the search, it does a search from people, not from a certain app, and also he enters into the system and is not able to check what are the teachers of this university, and if from them we end up having difficulties with those searches, maybe with information or without information. We shall be able to find solution to create systems that will be improved when it comes to search. Okay, thank you, and this was my presentation.
Aqui, professor. Estamos a correr com o tempo. Professor, fecha, professor, fecha.
Bem, então, eu começo por agradecer
I start by thanking Excellency that has given me this invitation and also all that are present here. I'll start, and that's got the transformation of the institution on the conventional method. What happens is that most of our institutions of higher education, they've been having a great impact on the society, and they should have done more. One of the problems of our institution it is that they are still looking to still holding to the traditional method and what has to do with the academic. They've got certain responsibilities. They are all formed on the traditional method, and there's a certain resistance to change to the new model in any way. This is the agenda of my presentation. Before I move forward, I'll do a certain retrospective, and we shall see that the university was born on the Middle Age, during the Middle Age, and was starting adapting and show a great dynamic. And when it comes to this medieval age, was being led by the church and was focused on the when it comes to the industrial age suffer a great reform. First Napoleon that is introduced the universities and the diplomas and so on, and this process was continued by the people in German and Napoleon. I can say that Napoleon is transferred the title of the university from church to state, and another aspect also Napoleon also has also having in consideration the strategic and this also understood that the university has to be a partner. He set free, and he also administrative and academic, and is introduced and was also produced the scientific investigation. We also note that the university at the industrial age it takes another structure and consistency, and it extends its mission on the training it comes with the institute of the society, and through this scientific and innovation, and in many cases also in digital age the university they've started with those technological university of the higher level. They don't conform with the institution on they start also create institutions. It is important to remember that we are on the age of on the, where there is a certain evolution, and the technologicals they are more short and so on.
tem um ciclo de vida mais pequeno. Portanto, é necessário que se criem novas instituições.
The university now they have taken this role. And in the case of Angola, we had the war ceased in 2002, and then we focused on the construction and everything. So we had a lot of people that were in every institution cannot be accomplished, or all the challenge can only be accomplished with the serious and with the people that can use the services and the goods. So the main role of Angolans is the investment.
Que garante conhecimentos e especialistas para a sociedade. Infelizmente,
And unfortunately, this model we don't have on our societies, and we have to develop to the entrepreneurs model. So the more important are the entrepreneurs. They are very important for the development of the country or the society. So they are the entrepreneurs. They keep the system working. There are three searches. They are very important. And an article that I consider as very important, and those are the challenge, and they show the role of university and the mission of the new university is to create new entrepreneurs. This ideas very root on our culture. All of this has been seized. So it's only university if it can contribute to new entrepreneurs and new businesses. So fundamentally, what is necessary for our institution, they need to have more impact. So firstly, we need to have very in business sector. So they need to take responsibility to contribute in these institutions and a new culture, a culture of social responsibility and transparency. So in this way, we're going to have a sustainable society. So for the development, we need to have more. They need to create a progressive social empire. So with this traditional space and of investigation and everything else, we need to have a space for a commercial, as because I also have a farm, and my view of university is very large. A lot of trees and a lot of fruits, and a very in the minimum need to be 30% of a green zone. So I propose 3 points. In the first point or first phase, this is internal investment. So in the first phase, the entrepreneurs, they need to have the spirit of entrepreneurs, and the business need to be integrated to the camp. And the second phase will be need to be integrated. The idea is to involve the teachers or professors, and they need to be entrepreneurs potentially. So, and the third is for a connection of the internal and external. So, if the companies has been starting here, they can further going to the external areas. So they will have also the support of the institutions. So in parallel with this structure, which we have, shows how the facts are shown. So we have two aspects. One of the aspects is if the clients they have no power, they have no purchasing power. So will create companies without profits. So if we're going to have cabinets and consulting companies, and if the base of the material will not be able to give the companies to invest. And the other area that is very important are the areas of acting. So they have a physical part, and we have a conscious part, which the society has a real material area. We have the infrastructure, and we also have the culture of the society. So we need to create investments with the material and the other part, which is culture. So each activity, all the initiative will fail if they don't have good principles. Those are teaching that came from our forefathers and our long teaching. So the professors cannot do what the students are doing, and the university cannot do what the professors can do. So the priority is for the citizens, and we have to have the initiative that we are helping the society. So the other aspect that is that the institution cannot be the judge, and we need to have a modern government that support and stimulate. And the other aspect that is very important is that the internal investment, the institution cannot look for service for external companies while they have their own companies. So the entrepreneurs or the investments need to be the main objective of the institutions. So the institution of higher education, our universities in the higher, there are three social class. Some of the
E como as universidades não são agentes fracos, não conseguem competir. Portanto, não têm salários competitivos, não têm condições sociais atraentes. Portanto, eu vejo o empreendedorismo.
So I see the investment and other aspect. We need to be to acknowledge that the structure of the conventional for the department or the and we also have the
estruturação, seu capital humano.
Those departments, they've got this scientific concept, these structures that they work. It is proper for the teaching, but doesn't work for the institution. The structures provide service to the community, to the source, to the society, as to have this financial autonomy, this administrative financial autonomy. And also it's necessary that with the ecosystem, there should be another ecosystem that will be directed to the service. And also there is also different rules, and certainly that the systems, they have to cooperate. What we notice now, it is that this structure, the conventional structure, wants to provide a service, wants to control, it doesn't work. So another important aspect, if the entrepreneurship will be the first motive of our institution of the higher level. It has to be recognized on the budget, it has to be a rubric of the budget of the national, and also to the instruction, and also to decide those. It should be also to this intellectual capital. That is what's going to come with structure and so on. This institution is to have rules, is to avail the service auditing, and it certainly is going to is going also to hold all those for the institution. Without interfering on the management. And also, and when it comes to the incubator, I'll not talk a little bit, everyone knows. And to conclude, the entrepreneurship is going to to bring a dynamic to our institution of higher level. Is going to reinforce. It's going to reinforce as those agents, and to implement the income of the workers, may it be businessmen, not businessmen, and the entrepreneurship is going to transform the goods and on the lives of our community. Another important aspect, it is that the entrepreneurship will speed up and with the institutional communities. Is going to speed up the transformation of Angola from production of the raw material to a service of higher level. Our institution here will also give, so that will grind the meal, the corn. And another important aspect is going to deal to foment the social politic, and is going to help to eliminate those smuggling of our institution, and also to transform into institution. Our community, our institutions, they have to start feeling the presence and the impact of our institutions. And also other important aspect, I believe that is the last one. It is that's going to speed up the development of Angola. Is going to reinforce the citizenship, the proud of being an Angolan, make Angola more competitive locally, regionally, and internationally. We shall be able. And I would like to take this opportunity to quote Barack Obama. Yes, we can. As any country, any people, we've got the right to think big, but we shall start small and also climb quickly. And I would like to finish, to thank everyone. Thank you.
Obrigado a todos. Já está, a organização já está.
Thank you for everyone. We already finished. We also gave opportunity for 3 questions. Dr. Teta has provided a system of Professor José Gomes falou a new model of searching, and Professor Aris Veloso has spoken about the new model of entrepreneurship. And so a question. Good morning to everyone, especially to Excellency Secretary of State and the speakers. Truly, I would like to have permission to make 2 questions, if it is possible. Need to be brief. So, firstly, my name is Angosto Gustavo Banzilla, and I'm doing my master in technology and telecommunication, and for the Atlantic University, and I'm talking about on the implementation of the learning on my higher education, and I've heard attentively, and I like the presentation of Dr. Mutete, and being in this dynamic, I would like to ask the doctor what can we do on our system, on the system that was presented for the strategy of the education, as the curriculum already promotes as a strategic of education, why with the new technology, because nowadays we're talking a lot on the distance learning and be-learning and e-learning and m-learning and all MOOCs, and those are tools and strategies that we think that are very important, although our technological reality and digital inclusion, and I would like to hear from the doctor in this sense. So, other question is for Dr. Iris, which is the Searching University, University of Vienna. As we know that the University of Catholic University is the one who is on the forefront on the searching, on scientific searching, and I would like to know how to collect funds and how can we create resources, and which experience Okan can share with the public institution in order to mitigate a lot of the. I would like to in the curriculum proposed, in the system proposed, the doctor speaks about the process of selecting the content. We have to select the content and the strategy of education. How can we include the strategies of education seeing the new technologies? So we have be-learning and e-learning. So how can we use the new technology in this? So one more question so that we may answer all of them. Thank you. My question is, I'm from Bengala, Casimiro, and I would like to thanks for the presentations, and I know that this presentation needs to be spoken more often. So my question is about the system that you have, about the looking to abilities. We know that we need to better shape our abilities, and I would like to know how can help the universities on the discipline that we can better the ability of the students on the applicability of the system that we have presented. There's a big difficulty, is a problem that we have on our curriculums that create a problem for the students. So we have a very big gap between information telecommunication and in other courses. So I would like to have an IT and informatic information. So, and we also had those difficulty. There are more questions. I'll also make a question for Jose Figuerev. How are we according to the ethics? So I'll go to Professor Muteta. This is a very difficult question. I only know that nothing I know. So with all the presentations, we have a problem. The biggest problem is if the education model is the right one for the problems that the country is facing. So we have other dilemma or other topic. Do we have to find our own way or to do as others? So to do as others will only be we have two schools of engineering which are the best in Africa. In Senegal, those are the best schools, and those 90 of those scientific and on those students, they are formed in that university and they go to France to work. So that is a dilemma. So we don't have solution. And Professor Ari has raised a lot of problems. We don't have roads. We don't have electricity. So the biggest problem is that we don't have qualified people. So I'm talking about qualitative point. So why we have to go? So in a very short time we are given because Bologna they are doing a lot of things, but not at. So that's why I propose a very reactive model. In the reactive model to answer, so when we talk about self-learning, so the school is not able to teach everything that happens on technology every day. So we need to anticipate, and schools things are not anticipated always. So as I talk about the education about from the beginning, so the person need to search and increase its own knowledge. So that's why I talk about the general information where the person will get the general information about digital topics. And so we have to learn through our lives, and that's the way. So I'm giving this example because my son went to the university, has done 3 years of engineer, and is made incubator and is teaching the people that have done 5 years here. So I'm just talking about programming, and the tools of programming has been has been developed. So this so so I've been answer your question. So in very reactive program, where self-learning is the best tool for better information. So I will also talk about what Professor Aries have said. All of this, if they are not financement, those things will just die here. This is the Achilles ankle. So the so we only have 2% of our GDP. So I'm not a Secretary of State and I cannot say that. So if we don't have a budget at least for 10%, if we only continue to have a budget of 2% of GDP, it will continue to be a dream. Well, I'll give you two examples why I think on this model. Well, I have spoken to three of my students that are on students on third year. They are a student on the WISH and the electricity course. So in my class, I was explaining about what is kilowatt. I was asking about them what is the difference between kilometers and meters. So maybe I was explaining bad. We have 100 bananas, so and we want to create groups of 10. Or the other group, in the group of 100 bananas, they didn't know how many group of 10 bananas we could create. So those are basic group in which the electricity that is working with me, I ask him to measure to measure. Ask him. You have seen the general. So I ask him what is the. What is so? What is that's? What is the unity? Well, he was on the third year, and that individual in other people, they have a basic. So the good news is that in United States, 60 and 70% that have deployed, they can answer the same way. They can, but he knows how to operate the machine, but he cannot answer the same. They are operator of technology. New liberalism. They are just giving, and those are. And they are the group that thinks for all, and the others are just operators. So the difference about this IT and So the course that I started was a technology. There was only one course. So when we started with the programming, we create a course of IT. So there's a problem that IT, when we create a course of computer, we had to deal with software and hardware. So we had the IT with hardware and software. So, well, how can someone talk about the hardware and do not talk about algorithms? So it's true that we cannot form a programmer for everything. So to do a program for health, the program need to, if the doctor cannot understand the language of IT, so the doctors, they are creating the program for their system. So we are creating the IT for each area, for electricity, for medicine. So we are creating a specialization. So specialization is being actually bigger. So I still defend not the old model, but the need for investigation. We know that the rank of other university, the universities, the 20 best university, those are investigation university. So then we have the MIT, which are technological universities. So we have to go with these two model. So I was based on China. So I had a very good experience in China. They had a very institution technological of Peking. So they don't teach all of those topics, mathematics and biology. They they are only dealing with the traffic on Peking. So this institute, they are forming technologic people to solve the problems of traffic. So in China, in terms of application, and they have overtaken all the countries in the world. They have more digital payments, and you don't need to make any payment by cash. You only need to make on your phone. So, and we're talking about a country which is in developing country. So I have to stop when I start to speak. I have to usually talk 40 minutes.
A princípio, eu
Well, I was saying about the dynamic on the s- um, I was asking what is the alternative of getting funds for the how can this experience and the University of Investigation and collaboration with the other entities or business identities. So how can it be efficient for, how can we mitigate the deficit of just waiting from the government? So other forms of funding. So I don't know how to answer this question and makes me in a very difficult situation. So I would say that the Catholic University, I don't know if I know all the university, but what I know, we have few centers and only 2 centers that are working. And those centers that are working on the social science, and they are searching, they are publishing macroeconomic studies, and if you know, we know that the social, and they are doing fewer. We don't have a lot of lessons to give, and regarding to how to get funds, and those are very delicate information. And Catholic University is led by priests, and overseas they know that the priests, they have abilities to manage churches, and overseas we know to Brazil and other, they they are directed by, and we are here directed by priests. So I don't want to continue talking about, and I will stay here. We are not, we have no lessons to give regarding funds acquisition. So the church culture is not of, so in our society, we're talking about, we see people about the price of rice and about the price of this and that, but we don't see the people complaining about the production. So it's difficult for me to say it, but, and so we have the society, and we have a lot of knowledge about our culture. We don't have a culture of production. So we have to be frank, University of Catholic, and we are all Angolan, and there are no difference in our, and I'm there. The problems that there are in other universities, we don't have lessons to give. We don't have example or experience, but there are also people that will do their reflection, and it's not further than that. So I don't know if I have answered your question, and for ethic reasons, I cannot go deeper in this topic. So I, Professor José Figueiredo, and talk about a bit about the ethic, regarding ethics on the artificial intelligence here in Angola. So regarding this point, is to be a behavior of the citizen. If the citizen has a good behavior regarding ethics, so interacting with the application, he will have to have the requirements, and he will. We also recommend that the creators of apps, they need to implement rules that need to be in the application. When the citizen interact with this app, they need to have some restriction in order to not to have crimes. And so that will be, so from there where we have the person that use the app, and there are two areas interacting, and there are some specialists, and you need to be also intelligent. And the other area is defending that you don't need to be intelligent. There's a very open field. So what happened with the intelligent app? So when we interact with them, we need to be careful. We need to respect the the pattern that was created, the apps. So here in Angola, we don't respect the pattern that was created, some apps. So I think because of the time, we had a very good lesson with the Secretary of State and all those this team. We need to have more debates in the higher education to create more debate, and we know that was very, and we had a very good debate, and we would like to have more, like to have on the level of ministry create a new debate about this topic. So a round of applause for everyone.